so comfortable, we're miserable. We have a real problem here in this country with inactivity and poor diet in our young people.
How can you just follow your heart? How do you make a living following your heart?
We're so comfortable, we're miserable.
I want to end up like Mr. Dean, I guess you could say.
He's like pretty much my hero. This is probably the best day of my whole life.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be really around greatness because it's contagious.
Things that are the most difficult in life are the things that are most worth having.
All right, so 50 marathons, 50 states, 50 days. It's been years in the making and we're about to embark.
Life is good, brother. Life is so good.
I love endurance sports. I love testing the envelope of endurance, of how far a human can go.
50. Oh, Lord. How can you not have him as one of your personal heroes, you know? I mean, my gosh, that is insane.
Someone says to me that I've inspired them to get off the couch and start running. That's worth more than $1 million to me. Well, they say that so many irrational things begin with alcohol, and I guess my running is no exception. I was in a bar on my 30th birthday, you know, doing what we do on our 30th birthday, and I just had what I consider a midlife crisis. I mean, some people say it's too young for a midlife crisis, but I just kind of at 11 o'clock at night lost it, and I said to my friends, I'm leaving, and they're like, well, where are you going? And I said, I'm going for a run. And they said, what do you mean going for a run? You don't run. And I hadn't run for 15 years prior. And I said, you know, I used to love to run as a kid. It used to be my passion, and I want it back. So I walked out of the bar and started running at 11 o'clock at night. Started running south, and I thought, tonight I'm going to run 30 miles to celebrate my 30th birthday. about 15 miles, I started to sober up, and I thought, oh, what am I doing? Not good. But I made it 30 miles, and that night changed my life. I'll never forget, I called my wife, and I woke her up, and she said, you didn't come home last night. That's not like you. Is everything okay? And I said, everything is fine. In fact, everything is strangely perfect. I just need a ride home. And she said, that's sure, where are you at? And I said, I'm in Half Moon Bay. She said, how did you get there? And I said, well, Julie, I ran. She said, you ran from where? I said, from the bar. I've been running all night. And she said, just hold tight. You don't sound very stable. I'll get right there. A decade later, I've turned running into my life. And I no longer have a job. I'm a runner and a writer, and I write about running, and I have fun, and I love it. And I travel the country, and I meet terrific people. And I'm about to do something I never in my wildest dreams could ever imagine. Travel to each state in 50 days with my family and run a marathon there and meet tremendous, loyal, great people like you along the way. So I would encourage you to follow your passion, turn that into your life, and I wish you all the very, very best in everything you do. Thank you.
Race walkers, we want you to line up behind the 15 plus sign, which is 15 plus minutes.
Got it. Alexandria, Nicholas.
Photographers from ASI Sports.
We're here today to celebrate the love which Julie and Dean have for each other. The vows they exchange have been said in their hearts many times throughout their lives. By the power of your own love, I now pronounce your marriage is reborn.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Ever imagine that you guys would be doing something like
Absolutely
this?
not. Oh my gosh.
Especially when you met him, what were you, 16 or something, or 15?
Yeah, I was maybe a little bit younger than that.
Pretty young.
He's an awesome runner, but the best he can do is inspire people.
I mean, and even a couple of years ago, we never thought it would be like this. But he's just so good with people, and he's so passionate that I'm very happy that it's turned out the way it has.
What we did is we mapped out where I'm going to be, and we mapped out where the family's going to be.
Sometimes it's a little unreasonable to go from for over 600 miles to go from one state to another state. We're all over each other, big pile peeps. On the outside of the wait, where's my box for?
I was talking with some of the folks at the North Face, and this is years ago. Just said, dude, don't just go do this in the middle of the night. You could touch millions of people across the country. A third of our youth are either overweight or obese, and that's 25 million kids, which to me is tragic. I mean, it's absolutely tragic, and I want to get these kids off the couch, put down that video game, let's get outside and have some fun. I mean, kids love being outside, and let people run with you, and let's make it into a big event and just really spread the word that, let's get healthy, have some fun, push it to the limit. And I said, yeah, it sounds like a plan. So we're gonna start with the Lewis and Clark Marathon on the actual day of the Lewis and Clark Marathon, which we're calling the live marathon. 8 of the marathons I'll be running along the way are live events, like Chicago during the actual Chicago Marathon, Marine Corps. The other 42 events are going to be recreated marathons. I should run the certified sanctioned 26.2 mile course, and then we'll finish with the New York City Marathon 50 days later on the actual day of the New York City Marathon. So we've contacted the race directors for 42 marathons, and they're going to recreate the event the day we're in town. So literally, we'll start at their official starting line, they'll fire the gun, and we'll run step by step their actual course, and then finish and have a little celebration and move on to the next day.
Hey, we're part of the team. It doesn't say Endurance 50, but that's part of the team. All right.
The entire concept originally was a family vacation. I wanted to put the kids in a motorhome when they were old enough and tour this great country of ours. And I figured I'd do a little bit of running when I was out there. And one thing led to the next, and it just snowballed.
So we have a bunch of free time with the children. I think the longest we have is missing 4 in a row. And,
so we'll be hard at work on their school books on the road, really working very hard. But if there's something that comes along, it's a field trip.
Holy moly.
If you build it, they will run, Dean.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at this. Yeah, we're kind of get a feel.
That's it. New York City. It's done it. It's been a dream for 5 years to do this, and it makes me cry. I just can't believe it. All this stuff is. I can cross that 50 times. That's the goal. How are you guys going to manage all this, Hopper? How are you going to manage all this? You're so worked. You can work more than me. I can't imagine erecting all this stuff every day twice.
It's cool, Badwater was just a little training for this.
Good luck, man. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Oh, baby. There it goes.
It's got a GPS locator. It's got a data recorder. It's got a heart rate monitor. And he's got his watch. And we link all those together, get him started, and then he's off.
What's wonderful about Dean is his ability to activate and excite and bring so much energy to all the people around him. The moment is right for what Dean is doing. Most people can identify with running, putting one foot in front of the other. There is so much evolution of technology and convenience in America today, and because of that, people need something to stimulate and activate them. And the Endurance 50 does exactly that. I think it opens the minds of people around this country and around the world to see the potential of human nature.
Marathons in 50 days. There is Dean Karnazes. Way to go, Dean. All the way to the line. Under 4. Cheer those marathoners on. Under 4, under 4, under 4. Get them in under 4, under 4, under 4. Only 4 seconds separated second from third. With a time of 1:17.
I am very introverted by nature, and that's why I like to go running by myself all night. I remember there's a personality profile called the Myers-Briggs test. I remember the score I got, one of the parameters is introvert versus extrovert, and the person who did the rating said that I scored the most introverted score they'd ever seen.
We learned in working with Dean that, A lot is about inspiration. Dean is a very motivating person, and I think that was a real driving force. Is you can't break away the emotional side to an event from the physiological, and you have to look at that together. And so, you know, our coaches would make sure that we were in touch with sort of the emotional drivers that were important to Dean in this event.
He takes on the characteristics of a lot of athletes that people look up to, and the fact that he can inspire people to do things that they previously thought they weren't capable of doing.
That was great. We only get to do this 49 more times. One down though, can you believe it?
Clean living.
You guys are gonna die, stop. Oh my god, your heart's gonna stop. Your veins are like freaking out right now.
50 heart attacks.
The race starts at 8 a.m. The race director will meet you at 6. Security's there by 7:30 and Dean's interview.
This is 7:10.
He's going to be at the start line by 7:30, and he can walk to the start line. We have 4 water stops, 2 o'clock breakdown, 3 o'clock wheels up. He's ready to run.
This is really coming down.
Dean's kind of looking back.
Just wants to run.
Yeah. Swim.
Gonna hold his water bottle.
Yeah, sure.
You need anything, man?
No, I'm cool. I'm totally cool. But I'm gonna go up, I think, and tell the group, or maybe you guys go up and tell the group, just maybe back it down a notch that we're getting too strung out.
Yeah, we'll do it.
And I'll try and push her. I don't know. Maybe you talk to her group and say, is she entirely wanting to do the whole marathon?
She's doing 13. She's doing half
13.
of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Perfect. Okay.
All right. We'll run up to the front of the group.
Okay. And just maybe say that she's doing 13, but
yeah.
Okay.
Cool, guys. Have fun, man.
How's the rain?
This is turning a memory into a lifetime memory. I'll never forget this moment. It's a friggin' long way to go, a marathon.
But you know, I think everybody's having their own experience, whether it's 1 mile with you or 26. It's all about coming out, seeing what it's all about, meeting you, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
We just, these people, everybody's just stoked to be out here. It's not really about running a marathon as much as just kind of experiencing it, you know.
Does anyone want Cido? Thank you.
Water. Do you have regular water?
I read his book and, you know, very inspiring. Kind of followed him and everything he's been doing the last several years. Just a very personable, down-to-earth guy, you know, like most runners. Very approachable. Pretty cool event. Decided to come up here and run today, and I'm gonna run tomorrow down in Mississippi.
It's not about finishing the marathon, it's about getting out and pushing yourself to do more. So.
I got that. Because he's trying to get in shape to
yeah, if you run a mile today, run 2 tomorrow. That's what he's all about.
Finished the marathon. We took a couple pictures. He's like, okay, I was 2:05. Now I got a goal ahead of me. I'm like, I look at good style. I mean, at 12 years old to have that kind of wherewithal.
You gonna help me hold this finish line today?
Yeah, good. I'm so bored.
I guess right now I'd be at the point with where they call the runner's high, invincible. Talk to me in about 7 miles, we'll see where I'm at.
Moments of agony.
Water?
How's everyone else back there?
They're fine. They're suffering, but it's a marathon.
Hey, can I thank you guys, everyone, for participating in that first inaugural race of an unscripted act all together, and that was just terrific.
These things are always nice when they're over, you know. You always say never again. When you get home, you look for the next application form.
This is the first run that we've actually staged, so we ran the Memphis course, just not on the actual day of the Memphis Marathon. So these terrific other runners signed up to run with me, and we ran a marathon. It was terrific. It was kind of spookily easy. I hope that not a bad thing, but it didn't even. I don't even feel
Physically,
like
you felt fine and everything. Yeah, well, you guys were doing what, 10.5-minute pace?
Every person out there had an insane story. 2 guys PR'd. I mean, you know, again.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
well, that's huge.
It's huge. It's huge. One guy is a principal. He's head of school for a district, and every school in his district has built the lesson plan around the Endurance 50.
Nice.
They're all, and he wasn't even supposed to come here. He's got severe bronchitis.
Oh, that's the
guy.
guy.
Yeah, his doctor said don't even go. He said don't get on a flight and don't run. He's like, I'm going and I'm running.
Oh, great.
You know, it's what my challenge is to use everyone's energy to make me stronger, because you're basically talking for 4 hours.
They're
20
asking
minutes.
you questions.
Yeah, you're talking as you're running nonstop, and you know, sometimes you just want to get in your own head, and so I'm just trying to use that energy just to propel me.
And that's hard because you're used to that. You're used to getting it. That's what running's for.
Yeah, just getting,
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's good though.
That's when you can lock yourself in the bedroom. And
Perfect event for an introvert.
Right, yeah, right.
This is your challenge, as you know, it's stepping outside yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna learn as we go.
Yeah. All from Katrina. Really? Yeah. I was down here for 3 months. This was all terrible. It was bad.
Just the community in general has been kind of devastated, but probably I would say probably the running community is still pretty strong, only because you need a distraction.
People's lives had been turned upside down. Nobody was training, but they just wanted to just do the race. You know? Light turnout, but it went on. You know.
You gonna finish the whole thing today?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I actually was gonna do half, trade off with another guy, but Dean said he'd wait for me if I did the whole thing, so I'm gonna shoot for it.
What Dean is doing is pretty amazing, and the inspiration that he's given to everybody, that if he can run 50 marathons in 50 days in 50 states, then every American can do at least 50 minutes of exercise 3 or 4 times a week and get healthy. And it's a great message, and it comes at a perfect time, and we're thrilled to have Dean here in Arkansas.
And if you get stopped for speeding in Arkansas and tell them you ran with me, they'll double the fine. Well, have a great day.
Thank you.
It's been an honor to run with you.
Likewise.
Thanks for what you're doing.
I had to meet this guy and be part of this event and run the Arkansas Little Rock Marathon with him. And he's exactly what he is in the book. He's down to earth and grounded, and incredible experience.
I'm gonna be framing that one.
I attempted my first ultra marathon, 100-miler, and I had read the book, and I'm so glad I did it before the event, because there were places where I wanted to quit and stop. And you dig deep and you find a lot of strength, and it was just something I needed to be a part of.
So back in 2004, I write this book, UltraMarathon Man, Confessions of an All-Night Runner. Next thing I know, it's on the New York Times list, and I'm just besieged with fan mail and people calling my house, people coming to my house. It was just crazy.
To Dean Karnazes, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not real fast. I can just go for a long time.
How far do you run to get to the race?
I run 101 miles to the start of the race, and then.
All right. My life has just been completely reversed in a great sort of way, but changed completely.
Dean, do you have a good sense of what each course looks like? or this is like blind for you, most of it?
A lot of it is just all new. Right. I mean, there's just been so many moving pieces that I just can't keep track of it all. So I figured some of the stuff I'll just enjoy as we do it, like each individual course. With the support, it's hard to service everyone, if you will.
Right.
When it's 87 degrees out and and that humid, people need water and stuff. So if you spread way out, there's just no way for one vehicle, to get back and forth in time to get stuff to everyone. So we're kind of working together as a group. Whoa, did you see that lightning?
Yeah, there's been some nice ones. There's 9 miles that you guys are in a military base.
Oh, really? So no support for 9 miles?
Well, we'll address that with everybody at the start line.
All right, Dean, you're set. We're ready to go.
Okay, go.
All right. Wichita was pretty intense. We had torrential downpours and gale force winds. It was harrowing.
Dean directed traffic up there.
The way I look at it, I'm either going to finish in the shape of my life or in a wheelchair. That's right. Running through McConnell Air Force Base was something I'll never forget.
How you guys doing?
I'm gonna go for maybe a goop.
Okay.
I almost feel like I gotta pick up the pace because it's getting cold.
Yeah, I know. We've got 2 people pretty far back there, so we'll continue to go back and forth.
Can you open this?
Yeah.
My fingers are so numb.
No worries.
Yeah, I might actually go for a jacket.
Is it coming in this way or should I come over there? Or to talk to you? Demoralizing. We're back here maintaining a pace that's 4:30 to 5 and somehow it's become a race. I don't think we're really dragging it back here so bad, but my gosh, we're gonna make a turn up there and we're not gonna see anybody. So I don't know what you can say. I don't think it's so much Dean, I think it's the other people that are pushing it.
Yeah,
the military guys are just probably pushing it.
Everyone was just saying.
Well, seeing they're only running 8. So.
Everyone was just saying.
All right, thanks.
That they're cold.
One of the runners got hypothermia. She got really chilled in the rain and the cold and the wind. She's fine. She actually came to the finish.
Dean's probably going to want to talk to her. Okay. We'll just want to say, hey, thanks
much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay.
She's pretty bad.
Was she?
We probably need to roll back and forth a little bit more since these guys are spread out.
Well, you want anything to eat, drink? Thanks. Perfect.
Water or something?
It's good. I'm good. It really tested everyone, and luckily we got through it. They were carrying me. I mean, it wasn't me. It was these guys. They deserve all the credit because they just kept me going, and it was tough out there. I've run in a lot of different conditions. I mean, I've run through the mountains. I've run to the South Pole, and those were challenging conditions. Boy, I still got 45 left to go, so. I'm not going to look at the entire journey. I'm just going to look at one day at a time and try and enjoy every day. I'm fairly confident I can do it, but we'll see. We'll see. I eat a lot. That's the fun part. Yeah, I'm eating about 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day. I guess it's good to do prophylactically, but I just don't feel like we're getting that much swelling.
You talked about it yesterday. You don't want to dig a hole and try to use it to get out of it.
Yeah.
You want to use it to prevent yourself from going in the hole.
Yeah. I haven't been stretching much at all. I'm trying not to change, you know. I mean, this is the man here. Don't do anything different.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. This is not a time to try something new, so.
Dean ain't broke, for sure.
Well, I've run a 200-mile, 12-person relay race. Just by myself, 8 different occasions. I've done Western States 11 times. Done a lot of 100-mile races. Done some adventure racing, some triathlons. I've run the Badwater UltraMarathon 6 times. Actually, I run it 7, but I only made it 6 times.
135 miles through Death Valley in July.
And one time I survived the fastest, as I like to say, so I actually won. I've run 262 miles continuously, which is 10 marathons. I ran 350 miles over the course of 81 hours. All the time I ran a marathon in the South Pole. Got down to about minus 40 at one point. It was probably the hairiest thing I've ever done. You know, doing what I love.
Lots of vegetables.
Lots of veggies. Yeah, live on veggies. Veggies, fruit, and fish.
How do you feel? Pretty good. Pretty good?
I feel pretty good. I feel amazingly good. I shouldn't be saying I feel good. Well, the first thing I gotta get over this head cold. Yeah. My legs feel great. I just got the sniffles.
We've been on the road, what? Like,
not even a week, dude.
Well, we got into St. Louis, though, like on...
yeah, but we haven't been on the road.
on Wednesday.
I got in there
But
Sunday
gone.
before.
Yeah, but I mean, on the road from
You guys
the original marathon, it's been less than a week. That's scary. That's scary.
I was just thinking
we're all like, woo, yeah, number 6, yeah, no. It's number 6 out of 50.
We're in single digits.
I'd always not wanted this to be about me, about one runner trying to prove something to the world. I want it to be about inclusion, about bringing people together, about uniting people, and celebrating health.
Come on, Lisa, finish my round.
First, Dave. That's your first marathon?
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's unreal. I think like I got really spoiled though. I mean, having your first one running with Dean, it's just unbelievable.
Set out to do this and kind of had a perception of what it would be like. This has been entirely different. I mean, this is almost in the realm of spiritual.
They always say that one of the best things you can do as a long distance runner is choose your parents well.
My wife and I are both Greek, and my name is Nicholas because my father's name was Nicholas. My father's name is Constantine, so our oldest son, Dean, is named Constantine. So his son is named Nicholas after me, and our other son, Craig, has a son named Nicholas, so it's
Nicholas
like
Craig.
the big fat Greek wedding. Everyone's named Nick, you know.
The original marathoner, Phidippides, was Greek, and he actually ran much further than 26.2 miles, which a lot of people don't realize. He ran much further than that. And he was from a village outside of Tripoli that my family came from. And my father and sis were from the same village. And I tell him, Dad, we grew up in LA. What do you mean, same village? What village are you talking about? But the Greeks were great long distance runners, especially the Greeks from the mountains. And that's where my ancestry came from.
And he says, Dad, if you live to be 90, do you realize you've slept for 30 years? You sleep 8 hours a day. That's 1/3 of 24 hours. So he said, I want to live to be 90 also, but I don't want to sleep for 30 years. I only want to sleep for 15 years. So I sleep 4 hours a day where you sleep 8 hours a day. That's been his schedule. He goes to bed at midnight, wakes up at 4, goes out for a run, comes back from his run, showers, gets the breakfast ready for the kids, gets the kids off to school, goes to work, picks the kids up, comes back, fixes dinner. His wife comes home from her dental practice. They have dinner, they do some homework, they go to sleep. They're sleeping at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Dean puts his running gear, goes to run from 9 o'clock till midnight. Wakes up the next day all over again and again. I need more sleep. I don't need 8 hours anymore. I need 10, maybe even 12 hours.
I'm a little concerned about the
Bush takes a
Hard
squirrely left-hand turn, I'm going to get scalding water all over my crotch. The penalty for failure is high.
I replayed in my head as though it happened yesterday, but Deadwood was just one other runner. And actually, I was surprised there was anyone there because it was out in the middle of nowhere, and she was terrific. She was a cancer survivor and hadn't run her first marathon until she was 50 years old. And that marathon she ran with me was her 50th marathon. And she's 53 now, so in 3 years' time, she had survived cancer, become a marathon runner, and run her 50th marathon with me. It was just a really, really great day. And it was all on the trail, which I love. She's a 3:30 marathoner, so this is just a cruise for her.
How you feeling being out here with Dean today?
It's a lot of fun. Really, a singular experience.
The highest so far.
Yeah, we're at 6,100. The last three have all been above 5,000 feet.
They've all been super fast too.
I've been trying to get her to slow down. She just won't take me up on it. Where's my girl? Amos! Should I get a hug or what? You gonna walk away from me? Thank you. That was so good. Thank you to my partner who ran with me, Amy. She was absolutely tremendous, and she made me go very fast because she needs to get back to work. And she reminded me I've got about a 10-hour drive ahead of me, so I got to run kind of fast as well. Thank you very much. Well, my sister and I we were best friends. I mean, she was my best buddy. And on the eve of her 18th birthday, she tragically died in a car accident. And it took me a long time to get over it. I mean, I went through, I think, all of the classical bereavement and grieving steps. I mean, I was angry, I was bitter, I went through denial, and finally acceptance. And I've turned it around where now I just say, you know what? I'm gonna live every second of my life to the best that I can in honor of my sister, to celebrate her life. So it took me a long time to get over it, but now I just think of her every step of the way when I'm running, and she inspires me to this day.
Super fast, dude.
I'm slow. You guys are making me go fast. I couldn't keep up with you all.
Got any football scores yet?
Oh, watch out for the ball!
That's a first. You ever get into a pool? Yeah, I'm good.
Do you respond to these comments, or are they just comments?
No, I just post them. So I'm telling people I'm saying I have a hard time responding to email. They still email me, and I just post the comments. So when you go onto my blog, if you ever go to my blog, just hit comment. It says comments. There's like some of them like 80 or 90 comments. So you know how that works.
So I leave a comment for you can see it.
Yeah, dude. I read them all. You are rocking the nation, Dean. Loved your book, The UltraMarathon Man. It's the book that keeps me going and going. Kind of how this has been working, it's really like a fun run, a group fun run. And we go on to the second box. They're all. I'm used to this now. I'm getting stock and measured and I dealt with the kind of, being on stage all the time, really through listening to my wife.
Dean Karnazes.
She really coached me a lot, and she said, come to the reality early here that for 50 days you're going to be exposed. There's no way around it. And at first it was the most uncomfortable thing I could ever imagine. And slowly working up to the event, I got more and more used to the fact that, okay, for 50 days, these are gonna be like the most incredible 50 days of my life, that I'm gonna be pretty much out there in front of people the whole time.
He ran a blistering pace yesterday. How'd that treat you?
I was feeling it yesterday. Definitely feeling it. I hope these guys at the station don't let you off easy. He said he was going the whole way.
No, he's lying. Hey, have fun.
All right.
See you, brother. Yo.
Steven, ask him about bloody nipples.
Oh yeah, how do you avoid bloody nipples, Dean?
It was hard. It was really hard.
Dean, you ever been to Alaska, or is this your first time?
No, I've been, yeah.
We're all first timers.
You are?
Yeah.
During the normal season, there might not be any bears out there, but right now there might be.
All you have to do is be faster than one other person on the course.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Red Hopper.
Welcome to Anchorage. It's only 42 degrees. Tomorrow, predicted 35 at race time. Hey,
35?
Dean, how are you? Hey, JB.
Hey, I feel like I'm a prisoner of war. I don't want to run anymore. Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
Oh, brother.
No more running. Nicholas.
Whoa.
Oh, my son. I want my family.
I used to be a runner. No matter how you train, there's always days where you're super sore. You're going through 50 days, 50 states, 50 marathons. How are you feeling, and do you think you can hold up the pace?
So far, so good. I mean, I'm trying not to do the math. This is number 16, and I feel okay. I seem to be getting a little bit stronger, actually, with each marathon. I had a bit of a head cold. Just the climates I've been in have been so variable. I mean, it was 87 degrees and 95% humidity in Mississippi, and then 2 days later we're in Wichita, and it's 60 degrees driving rain. Yesterday I was in Portland. It was about 72, 73, dry, warm. And today I'm here in Anchorage. So
It seems that you always have a group of people that jump on to join you for the run, and you got a little bit of a group here. Is it better running with people and having that extra turnout? I mean, does it make it more enjoyable?
For me to think that I would fly up to Alaska on a random Monday, and there'd be 18 terrific runners going to run a marathon with me, or some portion of a marathon, it's like a dream. I mean, I can't believe it.
Big smile, ready, 1, 2, 3.
The bulls are in rut right now. And
what does that mean?
That means they're frisky. They are frisky.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it does not. No, don't make any moose calls. That's just yes, they're frisky. So if they happen to come to you, find a tree. You can play the ring around the rosy, but usually the bulls will just get tired and they'll go away. So bears, we have not seen any bears on the course here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but that doesn't mean you won't. You are running through bear country. The biggest thing that they're probably going to encounter is maybe a moose or a bear on their trails. And as I was briefing the runners, the bears and the moose always have the right of way.
I remember doing an adventure race, and we're going along on the trail, and there's a moose up in front of us. And I said, guys, look, how cool is that, a moose?
and this team behind us, this big, like, burly, barrel-chested guy's like, moose, moose, and he just decks me. He's like, scramble, scramble, moose, moose. I'm like, what the hell? It's a moose. He's like, no, no, no. It's mating season, boy, and that's a big moose. I got the picture pretty quick.
What is that, man?
Moose leg.
From what?
A moose. Oh, you mean what got it?
What?
Could be a bear.
We're running along and we come around a corner and there, strewn across the trail, is a moose leg. And I'm thinking, what on earth did that? And the guy next to me said, oh, look down there, that's what did it. And there was a bear mowing on a moose. And I'm thinking, ooh, now would be a good time to pick up the pace.
Bears can be quite dangerous. We had a very sad incident with a renowned master runner, Marcy Trent, and her son, who were attacked by bears here about 10 years ago. But if you are out running here in Alaska or you're training on the trails, you really need to not run alone.
And I had some quiet time alone today to scan through all of Omar's music and stumbled upon this.
You gotta be on your cell phone now. Talking to your girlfriend.
I was so high, I did not recognize the fire burning.
Hey, the group is talking about ordering a pizza later on. We want to try the pizza on the run. You think we can arrange that?
Well, I'm on these long runs or just had food. Sometimes I'll order a pizza and I'll tell them my coordinates and about where I'm going to be at the intersection in 20 minutes, and they'll bring me out a piping hot pizza.
Pizza!
Oh, way!
Sweet!
Where's the Hawaiian style?
Is that the Hawaiian? They're all Hawaiian.
They're all Hawaiian. Oh, I'm all over that.
Pizza of choice.
I've learned a couple things over the years. I've learned Hawaiian style. That's the way to go. The pepperoni's too spicy. That's hot.
Oh, you didn't roll it.
No, I had to share it. I had to share it.
Oh.
And I don't have them slice it.
Oh, it's good.
So I roll this thing into a big burrito, like a big log of pizza. So good. San Francisco, you know, they say it's best in your backyard, and there's just no place like home. It was an incredible, stellar fall day, and I had lots of friends running with me, and my friend David Ames, who actually we used to love to run together. He now has Lou Gehrig's disease and he's confined to a wheelchair. David was a training buddy of mine. I mean, we used to lift together, run together, and he was the strongest guy, and I mean, he just dusted me and everything. He's been down in Brazil for a long stretches of time, seeking treatment. And one time he came back here, he called me, he said, "Dean, you want to go for a run?" I'm like, "Oh, David, buddy, I was crying. I'm like, there's nothing more I'd love to do than go run with you again." He's like, "Well, let's try it. Let's try to push me." It was the greatest thing for both of us. I mean, just to hear the things he was saying, like, oh, that fog. Like, there's certain gaps where the fog comes through, like in Mill Valley in the footpath. And as a runner, you just kind of take it for granted. The temperature changes, you get that cold blast. He just experienced all of that again. And it just made me appreciate all the things that we take in as runners. We got to run together across the Golden Gate Bridge. That was a very meaningful event for me.
Across the bay, we sit and stare at the city.
Look at that city. Nice.
Out of the car and ran away. Got so
him, you know? Bye, David.
Bye. I love you, brother. Okay, take care.
Guys need water, goo, anything? Load this guy up, okay?
Charge on, guys.
All right. Be good. This is good.
Dean is really an inspirational leader for the nation. Didn't want to miss the chance to be with this guy. Sort of a homecoming in the midst of his global achievement.
Never been laid before.
Go do a little windsurfing on the. I mean, literally, it's a half mile from here is a place called. There's Sprecklesville, Kanaha. I mean, it's right there. So we just gotta stop real quick on the way back.
You have to do it again?
He doesn't have any blood left.
We actually have run a scientific study that we've been collecting blood on Dean throughout the course of the Endurance 50 and looking at other physiological markers.
From a physiological standpoint, Dean tolerates very low intensities, unlike any other athlete we've seen. He can go forever and ever and ever and ever at very low intensities.
I think he's a little like the tank. I mean, usually the anacubals are usually like pipes.
Through it, and I think we're going to learn some really wonderful things about how your body handles the pressure, the physical pressure and nutritional pressure of an event of back-to-back nature like this.
Oh, I almost passed out. That was bad.
How are you guys? I'm Dean Karnazes.
Good,
I'm so sorry I'm late and dedicating myself to science. So we're taking blood and we're looking at is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a neutral thing? Trying to analyze is my body breaking down, building up, and it hurts.
I'm Scott.
Oh,
meet you.
pleasure.
I'm Pacifico.
Yes, thank you for your message. Before the Maui Marathon, I get an email from a gentleman from Japan, and he says he'd like to come over and run the Maui Marathon with me. And not only that, he had convinced his wife to scrap their elaborate wedding plans and to fly to Maui and just on a whim get married the day before and then run the marathon with me to prove that he was worth investing in, as you will.
We had a very small wedding ceremony yesterday on the beach south of the island. Just two of us.
So he was up all night. Yeah.
A little tired.
Today we will run to celebrate.
Yes, my wife is waiting for me at the finish line, hopefully. Hurts a lot, but enjoy myself. Thanks to all the guys.
It's roasting right now.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
And not a lot of breeze. It's going to be challenging. Definitely going to be challenging. Now it's just friggin' toying with me because I'd love to jump in the water.
is my wife, Miho.
Domo arigato for letting him run with us.
Obviously, it was a significant achievement in my life. I saw everything.
Oh, terrific. You're terrific.
Dean to me is obviously my hero. I've read his book like 4 or 6 times.
Can I sign to both of you?
Yeah. Sure. What he's done so far is like unbelievable. If it weren't for my wife's help and understanding, I wouldn't be here. So I really appreciate my wife and all the great guys. It was a great race anyway.
Arizona was really tough. It was the day after Maui, and it was a long flight back, and we got very little sleep, and it was warm in Arizona. Temperature along the course at one point got up to 104, so it was brutal, and it was the slowest marathon of all 50. It was 4 hours and 45 minutes, and I definitely took my time on that one and had a couple moments where I really had to regroup and just douse myself in water. It was so hot. The dark moments. There is a black North Face duffel and fish around, and it's literally a Gilligan hat. It's a brimmed, circular brimmed hat. In case anyone's wondering when this would become a struggle, I think I just crossed that line. The heat is brutal. I just don't have the right stuff on either for the heat.
Did Jim go get that hat for you then?
I hope. I think so. We just need to get more support out here. This is just insane trying to scooch this many people through what we're doing in this heat without more support. It's not right. We'll have people pass out. Me.
Yeah, it's really spread out too now.
Corey's like, let him die. I want the perfect photo.
No.
Well, endurance sports, when you're pushing your body and your mind to that level, you're kind of overriding some of the natural mechanisms that prevent you from going too far. So it's a battle to push your body when all systems are saying shut down, and a lot of times you're bumping up against the edge. Occasionally you go over it, and I've certainly had that happen to me at Badwater specifically, where I just fell over on the pavement.
You know when you can smell the pavement is hot?
Yeah.
I feel a turnaround coming.
I do too, bro. I see someone coming back. The lead pack, I love it. Woo! Come on, headwind.
Feeling good, Luce.
Told him at Badwater he was really tired and he didn't want to do it anymore, and I said, Dad, it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, it's as many times as you get back up.
Truly, you're a machine.
glad Dean's doing it. You know, he's an amazing man. So I'm impressed, and I'm going to be a fan of Dean's for a long time.
Anyone who ran a mile out there, I applaud. I'll sign, take photos, whatever. I'll wait here till the last person comes in. But thank you all. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I gotta get a lot better paying attention with the forces and the temperature. I mean, I'm not even tuning into that. And today was, you know, I should have pulled out all the bad water tactics. Literally.
Early on.
Yeah.
Early on.
Yeah, the Endurance 50, I mean, in a lot of ways, you know, running is my job. And it was clear that it had become my job. Running, like I'm just getting all these media inquiries and speaker inquiries and all this stuff. I don't know how to...
That's more stressful.
Yeah, because it's almost like a job then. You're like, I gotta get back to that person, I gotta do this, I gotta do that.
Email.
Some great stuff though. I mean, like National Geo, I'm on their advisory board. So they appointed me to their advisory board, and they're having this big bash in Washington D.C., which is cool. I mean, for National Geographic. But there's all these requirements. I gotta, like, paperwork and stuff I gotta fill out, and it's just like, ugh.
American youth are in the midst of a diabetes epidemic and an obesity epidemic.
They want us to run the finish with him.
Well, we've had kids across the country following this event, both in their classrooms and coming out to the Finish Festival at various runs along the way.
How many of you like to run? Let's see your hands. Yeah!
And these kids are so fired up. They just love it. They've been tracking every day on the Endurance 50. And they're watching this adventure unfold. And a lot of them, like I said, are coming out and experiencing it firsthand. And I can just tell we're reaching these kids. They're seeing something exciting and fun. And I think it's working.
What's up, Dean? What's up? Hello!
And if we don't stop and turn it around with leadership like Dean's providing, 1 out of every 3 children will end up with diabetes.
How'd you like to run?
I love running.
David, right on. Dude, sweet. Good luck to you, man. You know, I think there's definitely a wanderlust in my blood. How are you? My mom always says it's Thursday's child. Thursday's child going wild.
I mean, I respect the marathon. I respect guys like Dean. I'm gonna be 57 years old, but that doesn't mean anything. I got goals for 60. You know?
I read his book and really kicked me into gear, so I dropped 68 pounds since the 1st of January.
How Congress in general was handling his job, obviously.
A week ago Monday, I'm officially engaged.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
I teach 5th grade in Montgomery, and part of my curriculum is to teach in all 50 states. It's the first thing they ask every morning. How's Dean doing?
All right, man. Yes, hands up, guys.
Funny thing is, I tried to get into Boston for the 100 running, and I couldn't qualify. And I cried and I cried. Now I'm running my 100 marathon with Dean. So it's really cool.
There's a humbling aspect to pushing your body beyond its normal limits, where you realize your nothingness.
I mean, I'd never run a marathon before today. I didn't think I was going to run the whole thing by any means. I just thought about his book and then I would keep running.
We're the Cornheads. We're here to run with Dean for a good cause, for Carno kids. I was an obese child as a kid, and one of the things I want to do is help him out in any way to help kids out with knowing that working out at a young age is a good thing. So that's why we're here. We knew he went through Lincoln, Nebraska, weren't trained for it, so we thought we'd train for 3 weeks and try it out with these corn on our head. A little extra carb for us. A little carb.
It's all of the other people that are joining in that is making this experience what it is.
I lost my leg and a lung cancer about 24 years ago, and I've been running about, I guess, 8 years. And I had always wanted to run, even when I was little, but I couldn't because I had the cancer battle. And they finally amputated when I was, I guess, about 19, when I was in college, and then I lost my lung 2 years later. And it was after that that I started running, which I think is probably the greatest irony of my life, that I couldn't run with 2 legs, but I can with one. To run with somebody who I thought loved to run as much as I do. When I realized he was, doing this incredible adventure and was coming to Grand Rapids, and I thought, I cannot miss this chance.
Well, there's a quote by John Short. It says, "What counts in battle is what you do when the pain sets in." Well, I think it means to me is, what do you do when you're hurt? When you've pushed as far as you can go and you're at your limit, how do you respond? And that's where you learn what you're made of. And to a lot of people, it's mile 20 at a marathon. I mean, that is where they hit the wall, if you will. And that's where, to me, the learning and the development takes place. How do you respond? What do you do? What are you made of?
Sweat on her. Come on.
Because we've done stories on Dean, and I hear a lot from readers, I know how people feel about him, how motivating he is, but it's even bigger than I thought. 75 or 80 people ran with him today, and I think it's only going to get bigger as he moves on forward. It's pretty cool. He's a folk hero, He really is.
Well, my dad he's my hero, and I will never forget watching him finish the inaugural LA Marathon back in 1985.
I ran LA in '85, and I ran the London Marathon in 1999 for Diabetes Association.
I saw the pain in his eyes, and he just did not give up. He crossed that finish line. I think it left an impression on me. And now he's with me in almost every run I do, on all these long runs, and it's brought us together. It's brought my whole family together. It's been the most wonderful bonding experience that a family could ever wish for. So I've shared more with my dad through running than ever before. One of the most special marathons for me was Green Bay, Wisconsin, of all places, on the 24th of October. And it's because my son Nicholas turned 9, and he ran the last 9 miles of the marathon to celebrate his 9th birthday. He ran with my daughter Alexandria and my parents.
Man, oh man, I'm glad I don't have a grandson that's 16. I've run 16 miles. Nick's kicking along pretty good.
We all went through the finish line together, and to me, that was probably the most meaningful moment of the entire tour.
Happy birthday, dear Nicholas. Happy birthday to you.
You'd think that the Endurance 50 would be a lot of fun and games, but I mean, it was all business, I think, for all of us.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You look at yourself. Look.
Hello. You running in sandals?
Oh, 20 years. Last month I did 205 in 7 days. But damn, you did 350 in 3.5 days this year. I love this. It gives me a chance to show off.
Dean's crazy, and I want to be part of that.
It has, a full vehicle filled with liquids.
Badges for me. You're giving it out to other people.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for being out here.
Dean's
my
a
best
man.
friend.
Crap like that never happens to me. I run all day long. Nobody even looks at me.
He is the sexiest man because he definitely has those muscles.
We're the Princess Power Triathlon Club.
Down to the pole.
The really hardcore trail runs came at the very end. It was cruel. I think I'd run over 40 marathons, and then we got into these trail situations where the course was tricky. There was 3,600 feet of climbing and about 3,700 feet of descending. Today is really the second full trail marathon, definitely the most difficult logistically to coordinate. This is going to be interesting. I have so much admiration for every person out here. This is definitely the real deal. I can't imagine with 14 first-time marathoners doing this. I mean, not an easy one to choose.
But guaranteed a good time.
I will say that nothing can go as poorly as
insane. They usually have the race in December. I mean, how's this for engineering oversight? You won't even think about. So when we did it, it's fall. So all the leaves have fallen. You can't tell where the trail is. In December you see the trail, but with all it's just a blanket of leaves. You're like, where do you go? We were just bushwhacking. Literally, we ran 28 miles. I didn't want to tell those guys. Part of morale. But we made it. Everything worked out. Okay. Breakfast is accounted for.
Was it pretty slick?
Brutal. Yeah, it's really sketchy. I mean, it was not an easy course.
Instead of spending a lot of your time, you know, looking ahead of you and looking at all the people around you, you spend most of the time looking at your feet.
There were roots sticking out everywhere, rocks were covered up by mud and leaves.
You don't even know the dynamics on a single track trail like that when you're running.
Oh, you're fine.
Because people are trying to run next to you.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it was technical. So they're trying to run next to you and you're running into them. And then they're rapping, asking you all these questions. And I'm trying to formulate an answer with focus. So finally I said, I got to put the gas on.
Yeah, he really flew on that course today.
I don't know, you ran with Dean. He was too far ahead of me.
And this course was unbelievably hard.
Very slippery. A lot of blood.
I fell down so many times. I probably fell down, it was 3 laps, and I probably fell down about 2 or 3 times each lap.
And I slipped onto my knees, and my mom just told me I had mud on my face. Today I fell about 7 times.
I mean, it was cold, it was wet, it was dark, there was almost no light when we started.
Lots of blood and bruises.
This was hard. I mean, this is as much a hike as it was a run.
You got to go run that trail before you even make comment, because that was a brutal. I mean, that was brutal. It was brutal.
Like cheap stuff and stuff. That's actually pretty cool. Grease.
So, beautifully, it's all been knock on wood. In 40 marathons, it's all worked out pretty well. I don't foresee any problems here. You guys look like a great spirited crowd, so let's go running.
Sidewalk all the time. They're supposed to have a police escort.
What happened?
I guess they fell through last night. He's just worried about the runners, you know?
Safety, yeah.
Especially the guys that fall behind, like we saw.
No, slow down a little bit, guys. Get it spread out, okay?
Atlanta was definitely a low point. We were kind of in a construction area. I was talking to a great guy and he was telling me about surviving cancer, not once, not twice, but 3 times this guy had survived cancer. And I just wanted to look at him, look him in the eyes, and I looked and there was a piece of rebarb and I took a header right into a ditch.
He tripped, he fell in the mud. He hit the ground really hard. All bloody, cut his arm, his leg, his side.
It was the first time that I really felt vulnerable. Oh, boy. It was bloody and I was hurting. And it scared me.
He got right up and just shook it off. All bloody, it was just horrible.
police escort fall through? That was.
10 o'clock last night is when we
Then
heard about it.
well, I need to know these things. We should have just gone inside a track. That was ridiculous.
Well, we didn't even know about it.
It's not worth having someone die.
No, that's fine. Thanks.
Are you okay, Dad?
Yeah, I'm fine, sweet. I'm absolutely fine.
There you go.
So, God willing, I'll be in New York City on the 5th. If anyone's there, please come and join me. And I will stay here as long as I can until they pull me by the collar and say, you gotta go to the airport. I'm headed to Florida for tomorrow. And I will sign, take pictures, do whatever I can. Thank you very much for being out there. And great work.
This train is bound for airport station.
It was pouring rain and slick out there, and he went down pretty good. He's just cleaning it out real well because the last thing he wants is infection.
I'm not comfortable running with the group unless we have an escort. I'm not going to do it again. I can't put these people out of risk. Not to mention I could barely
I saw a kid this close. I mean, he moved so fast to dodge a car that I thought for sure he was going to be hit. There was not even sidewalks a lot of times. He said, see on the sidewalks? The sidewalks were closed. Caution, there was construction. There was no sidewalk. We're running down a heavily trafficked street in the middle of the street without an escort and no sidewalk. That's insane.
Well, the psychological wall was always flimsily constructed, I'll say. There was never any sort of formal structure in place. I don't know how to deal with, you know, this, I shouldn't say stardom, because it's not really stardom, but it's notoriety, I guess you would say. And I've got to be honest, in the back of my head, so many times I was saying, this is too much, I can't do all of this.
Are you sure that you can do 50 in 50 days and 50 steps?
No, I'm not. The first time I ran 100 miles was at a race called the Western States 100-mile endurance run. And I popped out of the trail at about close to mile 99, and I was completely wasted. I mean, there was nothing left in me. And there standing, waiting for me was my dad, my hero, and I pretty much just crumpled into his arms, and I said, Dad, I know I'm so close to the finish, but I can't, I don't know what to do. I've got nothing left. And he looked at me, he said, son, run if you can, walk if you have to, you know, crawl if you must. Just keep moving forward and don't give up. I learned more about myself in the next mile than I probably had known in a lifetime. And when I crossed that finish line, it was a moment I'll never forget. When you stop moving forward, you stagnate and you die. Okay, Carnum, deep breaths. You can do this, baby.
Let's get us 82. You got it. You got it.
You got it.
Hang in there.
Can you put this stuff on? Can you put this stuff on and go out there and do this for me? I think it says, what's it say in the back there? 49. I'm not counting, but the stories I've heard in the last 49 days are enough to, you know, fill a lifetime. You know, there's so many things that divide people in this world, and when I set out to do this, I said, I don't want it to be about one guy out there trying to prove something. I want it to be about inclusion and uniting people, and I've just seen the best in human spirit and the best in human nature, and it's because of all of you. Who is running New York City tomorrow? Yes!
Isn't that amazing?
Who is carrying me?
Just gotta beat Lance!
Ready?
All right, lighthouse guy. All right.
My legs feel a lot better moving than I do sitting. So, yeah, it's great. Yeah, no, I thought I'd never get an opportunity, but
this is so good. Coop by my side.
In terms of looking back on, I know you're not completely done, but on these 50, is there one run in particular that stands out to you for any reason?
I remember every run with crystal clarity.
Where do you see yourself, months down the road?
Well, I might not be able to stop. I mean, people say, what are you going to do on Monday? Are you going to rest? And I'm like, I think on Monday I'm going to go for a long run. I couldn't sleep at all last night. Just the jazz, the craze.
Are you nervous at all, or just excited, or?
Oh, what a little of both.
Right, this is the 72nd Street split right there.
Yeah.
Most of the runners go this way.
Yeah.
You're gonna go this way. I'm surprised your hand looks as good as it does. It's somewhere where you're always rubbing it up against something. Giving people high fives, and there's a big lop of skin missing.
Mile 8 marker. Just before that, at Lafayette, Brooklyn Academy Music. You're going to call this number.
Okay.
And it's going to be Carly with NBC.
Just listen to these stories and just absorb the inspiration from the things I've heard. It's just been something.
Lance said it's not about the bike. You can say it's not about the run.
It's not. That is so true. That is so true. Yeah.
Have you done the Spartathon in Greece?
No, that's on my list. Yeah, the Spartathlon. It's the trail that Phidippides ran to recruit the Spartans.
So he ran 270 miles.
And then he ran when he got back, he ran to the Spartathlon. That's when he died, the last 25 miles. That's how the legend goes. Yeah, yeah.
I hope so.
Good luck, man. Too friggin' nauseous to eat right now, I gotta be honest.
No, I was in Chicago that weekend.
You take a couple days off? I don't know. I'm kind of into this whole thing. I don't know if I can stop.
Yeah, I know. It's addicting, isn't it?
Well, if you've never done the New York City Marathon before, it's quite an experience. I mean, they cart you out to Staten Island and you're pretty much sitting out there for hours waiting for the start. And it's cold. So people wear their jog suits out there, and then when you're standing up in the gates to get going, you're pretty much ready to run. So you're starting to shed some clothes, and people are just throwing aside $100 jog outfits everywhere. Clothes are flying, and just it's pretty chaotic. I mean, imagine 38,000 people on one bridge. And a lot of people in the middle of the pack, I mean, even after the race starts, they're standing there for 15, 20 minutes before they start moving forward. What do? Nature calls. So a lot of people bring bottles, and they just pee in bottles. Some other people just let it out right on the pavement. Pretty interesting way to start a marathon.
Is this like any of the other races?
Oh yeah, just like every other one. Nice, calm, 50 people.
right, really good.
Take it easy.
Right on. There you go, Yola. What a trip, man. I'm gonna start crying now.
I don't even have words right now, man.
Oh my God, what a.
Think you'll keep running?
I'm planning on doing this for the rest of my life, actually.
Nice to meet you. I
So proud of you. I can't believe it.
look up to Dean and would like to do, one day same thing that he's did. And which, if I put my mind to it, like my dad says, you can do anything you want to.
Some people said I was crazy. So the only way I lose today is if I don't have the courage to come out and try.
Today was absolutely awesome. There'll never be another marathon like today.
Well, I had gallbladder cancer in December, and I've been trying to get back to running. If he can do 50 marathons in 50 states and 50 consecutive days, I can do one.
To see people suffer and put one foot in front of the other and take baby steps and then actually finish, it just means a lot, I told him and I tell y'all, sometimes I don't know if it's the destination, it's the journey.
Oh, sweetie. Oh, yeah.
I should have worn waterproof mascara.
Oh, man.
Jimmy.
I still can't believe it. Hey, Papu. Right on, bro. Right on, bro.
You guys gonna be proud of your dad?
Yeah.
He's done the impossible.
Everybody smile! Say 50! 50!
To be honest, even during the actual New York City Marathon, where I was running, as hard as I could, in the back of my mind I was saying, slow down, save some for tomorrow. You got a full day tomorrow where you need to be your best.
50 marathons in 50 days. He's dead. Roll up with a big burrito.
You're gonna have to run this marathon. You're gonna have to go do a signing. You're gonna have to do media. You've got to go host a party tonight. You got to get up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning on Monday morning and do press the entire day, and then you've got to go to the Conan show that night and be on that entire day.
Dean Karnazes, everybody, that's our show.
The umbilical cord has been cut. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Some great memories and start a new chapter. My plan is to head west. I got my credit card, I got my cell phone, I got my jacket. We'll see where it goes. My kids are hopefully home by now. I'm gonna call them in a little bit, and my wife is home.
Probably the scariest thing I've done my entire life.
Follow your heart. Do what you love. The hardest thing for people to do is to take that leap of faith. I've been going now for 1 month and 5 days. After the end of the Endurance 50, when I was done with all the press, I pretty much walked out of that hotel room and started running, started doing what I love to do most. I'm almost in St. Louis, so I've covered about a little over 1,200 miles after the conclusion of the Endurance 50. Every other day I've run a marathon or further for the past 90 days. Sounds crazy. You know, certainly there's a lot of runners that are running from things. There are also people that are running to things. I think a lot of people run for the pure satisfaction of running, and they're not trying to escape anything. For me, I guess it's a little of both. I mean, I think maybe lost myself a bit at the end of the Endurance 50, and I figured if I start running somewhere out there on the road, I'll find myself. And I think I have. It took about 1,200 miles, but I think I found my soul again.